Lalita, over to you. You're on mute.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I would like to welcome all of you to 293 meeting of Speakers Done Toastmaster Club. My name is Toastmaster Lalita and I'll be the sergeant at arms in today's meeting. To officially start the meeting, I want to remind everyone that this meeting will be recorded. Some parts of the meeting may also be used for the promotional material later. In order to have a smooth meeting, here are some ground rules that we'll follow during the course of this meeting. First, please put yourself on mute when you're not speaking. Second, don't interrupt while someone is speaking. If you are to move during the meeting, please turn off your camera. Third, please be mindful from addressing sex, religion, and politics during the meeting. Fourth, be attentive throughout the meeting. Support and encourage the fellow speakers by turning on your camera and warm smiles and claps. Use Zoom reaction buttons to express yourself during the meeting. As you're aware, everyone has a mission in life. Similarly, our Toastmaster has a mission. Our Toastmaster mission is to provide mutually supportive environment so that each member of our club can develop their leadership and communication skills, which will help to boost their self-confidence and personal growth. Now, let me welcome our presiding officer of the day, Toastmaster Sankhya. A management consultant by profession, Sankhya is a part-time theatre artist, was part of an improv comedy club conducting multiple live shows across Bangalore. He loves storytelling along with his FB page, Cafe Stories. Over to you, Toastmaster Sankhya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lalita. A round of applause for Toastmaster Lalita, our sergeant at arms for today's meeting. And let me welcome all of you to our meeting number 293, which I open with a clap. Now, before we start off with the meeting, I see we have an awesome guest today. And before we start the meeting, let me take a quick introduction of our lovely guest. So for that, may I request first, Sheetal, if you can quickly introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. So thank you, Sankhya, and a very good morning to everyone. I'm currently tuning from Jakarta. So I've recently moved in Jakarta. It's like 20 days now. So to talk about me, so I'm Sheetal Bhatt. I have decided in multiple places. So I'm purely a Mumbaiker, so born and raised from Mumbai. Then I moved to Bangalore. It's almost like 8 years that I've stayed in Bangalore. And so from Bangalore, I came to Jakarta. To talk about my professional team, I basically an IT professional, a salesperson. So currently holding a regional director place in handling Indonesia and Singapore in People Strong. So that's why my current avatar is. I've moved with my husband and my little one. That is, he's 5 years old. So that's where it is. And thank you, Sankhya, for actually allowing me to be placed here because I was trying my level best to be participant. I was not getting time, but lovely. I'll try to make up and try to get more and more knowledge in this. Thank you.
Absolutely. A round of applause for Sheetal. And welcome to Speakers Den, the first Toastmasters meeting. Great. And let me pass on to the next guest, Sid.
Hi, Toastmaster Sankhya. Hi. So this is Siddharth here. You can call me as Sid. So yeah, this is my second time I'm joining this Toastmaster, but originally I belonged to the Toastmaster in the Nagar's Pride Club. It's been 1 month since I joined that club itself, and yeah, nice to be here. And I'm in Bangalore. I've been here in Bangalore for more than 12 years now. Basically, I hail from Delhi. So yeah, it's nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sid, and welcome to your Toastmaster journey as well.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we also have Pai. Pai also is a very regular guest, but since we have some new members with us, so we would love to hear from you, Pai.
Yeah, as I told, my full name is Srinivas Pai, but you guys can call me Pai. I work as a product manager in a German multinational. Again, originally from the coastal belt of Karwar, Goa, but settled in Bangalore from a very long time, more than 16 years. So yeah, this is I think my 4th meeting in Toastmasters, and yeah, every week I feel there is some improvement happening in my speaking skills. So looking forward to join it on a permanent basis in the future. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Srinivas. I'm sure you will come up to our Toastmaster journey very soon. And even you come as a guest, I can see a lot of improvement you have taken from the first day when you joined us. Kudos to that. Kudos to the great effort for that. And next we'll move on to our awesome Toastmaster Susmita. Susmita, if you can introduce yourself. I know you very well, but we would love to hear from you as well.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Shankar. Good morning, everybody. I'm Toastmaster Shushmita. I'm currently the Vice President of Education of Baker Hughes Bangalore Toastmasters Club, which is just a 1 year old, a new club. And professionally, I'm working in project management domain in an energy technology company called Baker Hughes. I'm almost 4 years now, 4 years plus now as a Toastmasters, and I am here today to hear from the champion itself about that how to write a winning script. So thanks for this sharing the invitation, and looking forward to hear more from today's session. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Susmita, for joining us today. And for everyone who has joined for the first time as in the Toastmaster fraternity, now let me take you 97 years back when a man named Ralph Smedley had a dream. Now, dream comes in various forms, and his dream was very, very unique because his dream was to remove the worst fear of mankind, and that is the public speaking. Now, after years of hard work, this man founded what is popularly known as the Toastmaster International, which became a worldwide non-profit educational organization that empowers individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. And on 22nd October 1924, that's exactly 98 years almost, now that's the first Toastmasters meeting was held at the YMCA in Santa Ana, California. Now today, if I talk, currently the membership exceeds almost 357,000 in more than 16,600 clubs across 143 countries. And Speakers Den, amongst all the clubs, is a 10 years old club, which was chartered on 25th September 2012. Now, while we join Toastmaster for public speaking, but there are two additional benefits which comes along the way: the leadership and the networking. And once you are a member, you can give speeches, take up roles across the globe. And Toastmaster being one of the most positive platforms, we do one thing which is very critical. We break fear. The fear of public speaking, that unknown fear. What will happen if I fail? Or if I forget my lines? Or what will other people think of me? Now, let me assure you, at Speakers Den Toastmasters, we encourage you to fail. And we constantly push our members to say, hey, don't feel shy, speak up. It's okay to fail. We'll learn from it. But one thing which will make you perfect is practice. And to do that, you need to speak up in every meeting. And when someone speaks that as an audience, you need to clap. And the clap is an encouragement for the speaker when they are on the virtual stage. And since it's virtual, how do we clap? Well, you can use the emojis, you can switch on your video and clap. Let's see, how do you clap? Awesome, great. Now, well, every meeting has 3 segments. The prepared speech, where members prepare the speech well in advance and deliver it, followed by an on-the-spot evaluation of the prepared speech and the table topics, which is an impromptu speaking. But today is going to be a special day because today's meeting would be divided into 2 sessions. The first part will be an exciting education session on scripting a winning speech, followed by a super exciting session on the game of table topics on which you will rock. Now, I often wonder, even when I came to the Toastmaster for the first time, or even when I have to start writing a speech, and believe me, this happens with a lot of people, a lot of questions started hovering in my mind that, what would I say? How do I make a story out of the topic? Or how do I create a story which will attract the people's attention? Something called the writer's block. That's the mind block which keeps on happening. Now, even when I'm transforming the story into a script, I often wonder that, is that script going to be some impactful that I can hook the audience attention? Well, to do that, we have someone today, a very, very special guest, and a very special, who is going to take us our masterclass for today. Now, before I announce her name, let me tell you about her, because she is a passionate number lover, and she juggles with number as a regional manager at the London Stock Exchange Group. She enjoys the presence of people and hence become a Toastmasters 2 years back, as she believes Toastmasters is the best place to connect with unique minds, make friends, and learn together. She is the district champion in international speech contest, the table topic contest, and the district first runner-up in the evaluation contest for the year 2021 to 22 of District 92. A 3-time Triple Crown awardee, she has been the president of 2 President Distinguished Clubs in 2021 to 22. She has also ventured the world of Toastmasters as a speechcraft coordinator, a club mentor, and mentor to a lot of Toastmasters. So with that, let us start our masterclass script winning speech, and let me welcome Toastmaster Arundhuti with a round of applause.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shankar. That was such an overwhelming introduction. Just gave me a very nice feeling on a Sunday morning about myself. That's the best part about Toastmaster introduction. Thank you so much for that. A very good morning, fellow Toastmasters and all the lovely guests on this call today. So before I even get into how to script a winning speech, let me first ask one very simple question, especially to the fellow Toastmasters. How many times has this situation occurred to you that you told your VP Education, I will deliver a speech this week, but then you postponed it because your script was not ready? Let me see a raise of hands. I definitely am guilty. Yes, you see, all the diligent Toastmasters have faced this sometime. This is so true because scripting is such a critical part of speech delivery that often at times, if we are not ready with the perfect script that gives us the satisfaction of delivering a speech, we think it's better to push it by a week. So given we face this, let me ask one other question. You can unmute and tell me, you can put it on the chat. Which is that element of scripting that you find is a little more challenging, or where you think a little bit of tips would help? So put it in the chat. You can unmute and tell me which part of script writing do you find a little difficult. Let me see some responses and then we can get started. And just why do you do that? Yes. Ending part, topics. Yes, thank you. That very relevant ones. I have faced this all my journey. Timing. Thank you for that. Very true. All right. So let's see how many of this we can address. How to start and conclude. Okay. Yes. That's a good one. Humor. Very true. Very important as well. All right. So we'll try to address most of it as much as possible through this session. So let's get started. Like the word script starts with S. When I first started scripting, there are 3 S's in which I divide the whole process of scripting. The first S is your story. The second is the structure. And the third is the streamlining of that script to make it that speech that will stay in your audience's mind for long. So those are my 3 S's. Let's start with the first one, the story. Now, somebody said topics, very relevant one. When you try to write a script in your whatever number of years of life, you would have had several stories. But to be able to think that which is the story that will leave that long-lasting impression on my audience's mind is where we struggle a little. Or what should I bring onto the table? So, as a lot of Toastmasters would have told you, we are surrounded by stories. Today, Sunday morning, doing a session for Speakers Den could be a story for one of my future speeches. And exactly how life is. You step on the road, you meet 2 people, you go to a shop, you have an interesting experience. That could be your next story. So we're absolutely surrounded by stories. But how do we convert them to speeches that will stay with your audience? Couple of things there. One is whenever you have an experience in life which has taught you a lesson, which was interesting, which made you smile, as a habit, make a note of it. If you're extremely intelligent, make a note in your mind if you can remember all of it. But for people like me, probably who are less intelligent, you can write it down. But write those. For people who have a habit of writing journals, you can make use of your journals. Turn some pages, you will get a story. But make sure that those, because what happens is, since we face these experiences every day, sometimes we forget. So write those experiences that made a difference to your life. You can put 2 lines, but in some situation, that story will help you, either as your award-winning speech or just as an example for something that you're trying to put across. When it comes to story, I have 2 primary principles that I follow. And the first, disclaimer, there is no right or wrong in script writing. So today I'm not here to tell you this is how you should write a script and these are not something you should do in script writing. I'm just here to tell you my experience and what really worked for me and if that helps you. So the 2 rules that I follow, the first one, I call it 2 GB. We live in a technology world, so sometimes GBs and TBs help. So the 2 GB, where the G and B, the 2 elements, means genuine and believe. As a speaker, when you get on a stage, you can talk about anything. But the one that your audience, your team members in office, your friends at a get-together can connect the best with is when you share a genuine story of your own. That is something that audience will always be able to relate to, because when you're sharing it, you are not telling them a speech. You're telling them a story from your own experience. So that is why, fellow Toastmasters and guests, I would insist on this fact that whenever you take a stage and speak on something, make sure it's genuine. You're not making it up. You're not faking it to go with the trend. Like, I don't understand anything about cryptocurrency maybe, but that's the trend. So I just want to come and talk about it. You will never be able to relate to that because I am not genuine. I don't know that subject, but maybe I know numbers very well. So if I come and talk to you about numbers, you will be able to relate. So always keep it genuine. A personal story, especially for contests, people who are preparing for international speech, a personal story will always click. People will live that experience. The second is belief. On a stage, you can come and deliver any message. People here who are people managers, we know sometimes we tell things to our teams that probably even we think that, oh, this is not really what I feel. But on a stage when you speak, talk about something that you believe in, because then there'll be a conviction. As speakers, what we want to do is we want to give a message out to the audience. If you're planning for World Championship, to the world at large, we want to give a message that we want people to follow. And if you yourself don't believe in it, it's probably too much to expect that your audience will believe. Say, for example, you're someone who does not like getting up in the morning at all. You're not a morning person. You get up late in the day. But you come and you say, getting up at 6 a.m. is the most beneficial thing to do. But I never do it. So do you think your audience will believe you? So please make it something that's genuine and that you believe in. So that's my first 2 GB rule. The second one is the power of one or many into one. This is very important when it comes to delivering a story. Now, usually what we do when we talk about a personal story or when we talk about a fact where we want people to take some call to action from there, we usually try to put it all elements. It's like cooking your favorite dish. You want to add all the spices, all the ingredients and make it tasty. Amazing. But sometimes we want to plug in too many incidents into our story. Fellow Toastmasters, especially because if you're planning for ISC, the time that you have, and even for guests, no matter where you're delivering a speech, nobody likes it if you are dragging and bragging. People like things to be concise. We are in a fast-paced, fast-moving world. And especially for Toastmasters, you have 7 minutes, 30 seconds with your grace time to finish your speech. If you are trying to cover everything, you went on a trek, you start from how you boarded the vehicle to what was the snack served in the morning, what was the clothes you were wearing, and then your journey, you're trying to cover too much. As a result, what happens is you will either be very fast-paced or you'll overshoot time. In a speech delivery, delivering too much is not the aim. Because no matter how much you deliver, your audience has an attention span. They'll only take how much they want. What is important is to deliver it well. If you are trying to deliver too much, you will not be able to use your pause, your voice modulations, because you're trying to fit all your content. So that's why my recommendations always been in a speech, one message. Keep one message in one speech. You might be very tempted that I learned 2 life lessons from this incident. I want to give both. But if you really want to give it effectively, give one at a time. Make 2 speeches out of it. Even if you are accumulating 3 small stories to pull out one common message, that's amazing. But keep the 3 stories small, so that you're delivering the message importantly. So please keep it to 1. You can check any well-known TEDx speeches, the World Championship of Public. The stories are simple. Just one 1-hour incident, but the messages are amazing because the stories are small. They come on stage, get time to breathe, look at the audience, give the pause, slow down their voice, level up their voice. All this can happen when your story is concise and one. So that's about the story part. Now let's go to the OBC of script writing. Everybody here knows OBC is opening, body, conclusion. The structure that a script should have. It should have an opening, a body, a conclusion. So for people who are Toastmasters here, let's see some of you unmute. Maybe we go to Rakesh, because you've not spoken at all. Whenever you write a story, how do you script your opening? What do you usually do about the opening?
Opening will be introduction. That's a purpose statement. Yeah.
Perfect. Purpose statement. That's a very valid one. Maybe let's go to Lalita. What is usually your opening like, Lalita? What do you put in your opening?
The introduction.
The introduction. Perfect. So like others, please feel free to put in the chat. If there's a unique technique you use, keep it going. Let's see what you bring into your openings. Now, the opening, like Toastmaster Rakesh and Toastmaster Lalita correctly mentioned, is your introduction. It's really to tell what you're going to tell. Couple of things that we should keep in mind while scripting our opening. The first one, don't make your opening too long. Like I want to do an opening that is 1 minute itself. So in my 7-minute speech, 1 minute I gave opening and then I say, good morning, fellow Toastmasters. You would probably lose a part of your audience, or a part of your audience will not realize that you're still in your opening. Because when I came in here, I said, thank you to Shankar for the introduction. It was great. But only when I said, good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests, did all of you turn and say, oh, she's speaking to us now. So that good morning, or any way you greet, like for example, in a lot of contest speeches, people will say, good morning, fellow flyers, good morning, my co-authors. You could say anything, but only when you greet your audience is when you have your audience. The faster you do it, the longer will you have your audience, because you've got them earlier. Even in a team meeting, in an office meeting, when you're raising a toast, wherever you go, that opening, keep it crisp. Maybe a quick 3-liners or a quick 2-liners, and then go to your good morning, good evening, whatever it is. Somebody in the chat said asking questions, a very relevant technique to ask questions. It gets attention, but one catch there is ask questions that your audience can relate to and answer. That is also important. You ask a question and you get no response, that'll probably go against you. So ask very, very easy questions where the response is more like yes, no, or yeah, I faced this, yeah, I didn't face this. These are easy techniques. So ask questions that are relevant. Second thing about the opening is, like somebody said, it's a purpose statement. Now, in your opening, you want to tell your audience what you're going to speak about, but you don't want to give your entire story, because you need to give some curiosity, some suspense for the remaining of the story. So let's say you start off and you make it so obvious that your audience knows, okay, this is the story. She'll finally conclude saying, don't be afraid of this, don't have fear in life. And I know the story, now I'm just listening to you. But if I started it where I've given a hint that probably I'm going to do this, you'll still stay on with me to see what did I finally do. So in an opening, have a hint to connect to your message, but don't give off the whole story. And of course, you can use something that is catchy. So you can either do quotes, you can do stories, you can do a very abstract middle of your whole story. So let's say your incident was more like how you went out and you faced a situation that you then defeated and how you came out of it. If this is your story, you can put your opening like the absolute abstract, like at 12:49 in the afternoon, this is what happened, and say, good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Then go into your story. So keep it abstract, ask questions, keep quotes, but most importantly, keep it simple, keep it short, and keep it related to your topic, but not the whole story. So there's one question. So you can start the speech with some rhetorical questions. Yes, you absolutely can. Sai Nikita. Okay, I can't see you on video. Yeah, I can't. Oh, you did mention your video is not working in the beginning. Yeah, but yeah, you absolutely can. Only catch is questions either to which you are not looking for an answer, or if you're looking for an answer, which is easy for the audience to answer. If I come and ask you, can you tell me in which year did Toastmaster start in Botswana? Now, all of you are like, wow, what is she even talking about? Do we have Toastmaster in Botswana? So don't ask something that is very difficult. Ask something that's easy, where you will get a response. That's about the opening. Now let's come to the main thing. All of us here as speakers say that our opening and conclusion is very important. That is what audience remember. That's what people will know. That's where you have to put your dialogue. It's all true. But what drives your story is your story, which is the body. The body is that part of the story that often gets the least importance, but the body is really what makes you that speaker on that day that people want to listen. Everybody listens to opening and conclusion. Whether you have your audience with you or not is the body. If the audience are still listening to you in that entire 5 minutes that you've covered the body, you've won it that day. So that is very important. What do you do about the body? Of course, it's your story. Whatever incident you are planning to narrate, that's what you will narrate. All of us know how to put down story on paper. That's not important. Let's try and see what can we do to make that body constantly interesting. First is message. This is not only for winning contests. This is for your regular pathway project speeches, for your presentations in office, for your panel discussions in different forums. All of us have a message, a central theme. The minute you start scripting, you know what is the final call to action you're going to give to your audience. So keep in mind that you're not digressing in your body. The body should constantly be following that message. Doesn't mean your speech is on how to conquer fear. So after every statement you say, this is how you conquer fear. This is how you conquer fear. That's not the ask. Nobody asks you to do that. But to keep elements of how you were in a situation that you're afraid of. To keep elements of how you motivated yourself to go over that situation that you're afraid of. Because these are all connected then to your message of how to conquer fear. You're trying to tell people how to aim high. So every 2 minutes you say, so you should aim for the stars. So you should aim for the moon. You've lost your audience. They're like, oh, that's all she wants to tell me. But if you try to tell on how to acquire the skill sets that will help you get high in life, how to define your element of success, that means getting high, getting somewhere higher in life. This is how you build. So first is that. Please keep the message, the central theme available in your body in different forms. If you're giving examples, blend them around your central message. That's one. The second thing that you want to do is to write your body, and especially for Toastmasters, this helped me thoroughly, to write your body in a way that allows you to use your skill sets as a speaker. So as a speaker, we all have some skill sets. For example, one of my key skill sets is probably my energy. Just for example, I'm pretty energetic when I come to stage. For any of you that could. For somebody, humor is your strength. Your strength is to bring in those subtle humor and make the audience laugh. For some, it could be taking you tell a thing and you absolutely pause for 5 seconds. You look at your audience and then you start again. For some, it could be twisting. That is, you were telling something absolutely exciting, it's fantastic, brilliant. And then suddenly you come to something, it's extremely low, emotional, hard-hitting. These are skill sets that we have as speakers, our voice modulation, our gestures, our ability to place characters, to put pause. When you are writing your script, identify that strength. What is my strength? I am able to pause well, for example. Write your script in a way that will allow you to pause. You've written a script where there's no scope for pause. There's no twist in the plot at all. You are losing out on your biggest strength. So scripting, when you're doing, it's important to script it in such a way that allows you to use your skill sets as a speaker. For example, when I gave my district final speech, my plot had a twist. It was something that was going amazingly well. It was brilliant. It was lovely. And then it was an absolutely disastrous incident that brought me from a high here to a low here. That's one thing that I can do as a speaker, to absolutely twist the plot and bring it the other way. So when I scripted in such a way that in a second span, the audience were like, wow, this is amazing. And then they were like, oh no, did this just happen? So use that strength. Write your script in such a way that you can use your skill set, be it your voice, your pause, your ability to bring in rhymes. Some people can bring in those rhymes, the sonnets, the poems in between the script. Do it that way. That is one. Another thing is to be able to divide your script evenly. This is something we often miss out, not only in storytelling and speeches, but even in our office presentations. For anybody working here, you would know that you do your slide 1, you do your slide 2, and then you're rushing through your slide 3, 4, 5 because you're out of time. You given a 20 minutes in which 15 minutes slide 1, slide 2. Then next 5 minutes, you're trying to do another 10 slides. Very common. Happens with all of us every day. So that's why it's important, and this is a skill Toastmasters teaches you to really divide it evenly. If you're trying to tell a story, now I am trying to tell a story about how my father gave me an advice that was life-changing for me. This is my plot. And I try to do it in a way where in the first 4 to 5 minutes, I've really defined how my father is, what amazing relation I had with my father, how he's always given me tips. And then timer goes, green card. Then I realize, oh, I have to pull my message. Then I quickly try to pull in my message, feed it in and finish it. You've lost your audience. Because what will they take away from the story? What do you want them to take away? The advice that your father gave and how it changed your life? Or how amazing a father-daughter relation you had? That you have to decide. When you're writing scripts, we write big paras first two, and then we realize our message and we put it in the third para and we're trying to squeeze it into 500 words. So now what you need to do is, when you first write a script, put a structure that this was my first incident, this is my message, this is what I learned out of it. These are your 3 main parts. So when you're writing your body, ensure you're putting not like 100 words each para, you don't have to be that precise, but 1 para each, so that it's evenly distributed. Your audience knows the context, they know the message, and then they are going to the call to action. Evenly distributing a script is very, very important. Otherwise, you spend too much time telling everything that probably didn't drive the message, and then you're trying to be too fast where you're actually trying to drive the message. So evenly distribute. And very finally, try to bring in elements where the audience can imagine. That's the art of a storyteller. You have lived that experience, and what you want the audience now to do is relive that same experience with you. So use your words, maybe say, ladies and gentlemen, if you close your eyes for a minute and imagine this is happening, they will start imagining. Or choose your words. It was a beautiful Sunday, colorful birds flying across, a lovely scenic setup. Some of you are already imagining some scenic setup somewhere. So it's important that your audience almost feels that they are also going with you on that journey. So using either through choice of words or through using the technique of imagination, where you ask people to close their, or let's say something like, let me transpose you to my college days as a fellow student. You have to make your audience experience, because we as humans have a picturization mindset. We immediately, if I tell you, oh my God, it's raining outside, you already started imagining, really? Is my clothes going to dry? Is it that bad outside? We have a picture skew memory. So that is why if you are able to deliver a speech that allows you to picturize, then your audience will know you better and they'll remember that speech for times to come. If you've seen that's a constant in World Championship, they always tell you, imagine, for example, Dhananjay Etiarachi in his winning speech had said, imagine all your mamas, you put them together, that is my mama. That has stayed with us for long. Why? Because it was so relevant. We all almost imagined our mothers and put them together to make his mother. So always try to, even in office, right? When you're trying to convince on an idea, if you're trying to say that this is the new project we are going to do, try to tell your team in a way that they can also think, okay, yes, this is my project. If I do this, this is where my team will go. The minute they can imagine it, they are with you. So that is why use the power of imagination. And finally, keep your emotions genuine. Don't fake. There was an incident that I didn't feel sad about at all, but I want to come and tell my audience, oh, I was so sad. They'll know in a minute that you were not sad. So keep it genuine. Like you, however you lived it, tell it the same way. One tip I'll suggest, though this is not about scripting, it's more about speaking. But when you are going to deliver a speech, right, before you even start scripting, close your eyes for a minute, relive that incident once. What happened that day? What had exactly been your emotions? How did you feel? Then script and then deliver. It'll be just like how you had imagined. Finally, moving on to conclusion. The conclusion of this speech is important because it's your last impression on this stage. And we always say, first impression is the best impression, so opening is important, but last impression is the lasting impression. That is why conclusion is important. When you leave this stage, you've given something so strong to the audience, they'll keep thinking about you. That, oh, when Arundhuti closed, she told I should do this. Today, when I go home, I'll really try to do this because she told me to do this. That's why in your conclusion, again, keep it crisp. Do not keep dragging. Like my central theme is to say, spread one smile a day and let's make the world a happy space. That's my message that I want to deliver. If I come on to you and say, spread one smile a day, let's make the world a happy space. You know, today you can go and make your family smile. Start with there. Tomorrow you can go out and make the world smile. Like this, if we keep spreading smiles, the world, you are already like, I got it. You want me to make people smile. So that's where you lose your audience. What if we keep dragging on the same thing? Initially, they loved it when you say spread one smile and let's make the world a happy space. They loved it. They got your message. Now you've added another 3 lines and you've dragged it. They've lost you. So that's why always keep the conclusion crisp and leave it with your favorite dialogue, whatever it is. If it's a dialogue-based conclusion, if it's something that you've thoroughly, so in my district championship speech, I had started with something like a count because I was trying to do a story about paratrooping. And I wanted to tell people that whenever you are in that situation, give your mind that 4 seconds. So when I concluded, I said 1,000, 2,000, and you know the rest. Because the audience knows the rest. But if I kept going another 2 minutes, I would have lost it. So that is why what's important is finish it on your favorite quote, your favorite line, your favorite 2 verses of a poem that you think is most relevant to your speech, or even if it's a half-baked question. That is something you've told throughout your speech, you know your audience knows it. So you want to finish it like, I see something in you, but I don't know what it is. So you say, I see something in you, and your audience knows that I don't know what it is. So that's how you want to leave it. Don't make your conclusion too dragged, but very, very important. Have something strong. If it's an awareness you want to spread, make sure your audience is aware. If it's a call to action, emphasize. For example, you want people to do one good deed in a week, and you're giving the speech on a Friday. You can use something like, the clock is ticking towards the weekend. This weekend, get up and do something good for the community. Leave it there. They know that they need to do something. Get up and do something good. So you literally pulled your audience out of the chair. Now get up and go there. So if it's a call to action, should be very, very impactful. Should be something that people will really feel that I want to do this because she told me to do it. If it's an awareness, it should be in such a way that you've made 2 people aware, they'll make 2 others aware. That's how you want to do it. So for your conclusion, keep it short, keep it impactful, keep it very convincing that people can take away something. Whether you won at the district or not, whether you won your contest or not, what is very important is whether people could take something from your story or not. Did they get something out of your story? That's when you're really successful as a speaker. Irrespective of what happened in the contest, there were some people who came and said, the story was really inspiring. That was my real success as a speaker. So that is what you want to give to the audience. Now, quickly do 2 things about streamlining, because somebody said timing. And how many times has it happened with you that you've written a fantastic script, you're ready, you've practiced, and you're clocking 7 minutes, 49 seconds? Anybody who overshoots time? All of us do. Then we try to see, oh, how to cut it short. And that's the toughest, because as speaker, you so emotionally written a speech. Now to take off one para, to take off 2 lines, you're like, no, that has to be there. So how do we shorten it? How do we streamline a speech? The first thing is read your speech once more and see if every line is adding some value or not to your speech, to your message, even to your table topic. Is it adding some value? There will be lines that you will bring in just for audience interaction, to bring in that subtle humor, which is needed. Humor, audience interaction, very important, but they shouldn't be too much. So the way to streamline a speech is read and see if it's adding value. If it's not adding value, no matter how bad you feel about eliminating that line, please eliminate that line. Because to you, it's your story. You will feel very passionately, but your audience will not get anything out of the line. So those lines that are absolutely not adding any value, but are just giving a little more detail, those would be the first ones you want to take off. The second thing is whether this is something relatable to my audience or not is the second way of cutting down a speech. When I say that, what do I mean? I might be someone who's very detailed. So I bring in the minute details of things in my speech. But think of your audience. They are not here for a 1-hour college lecture. They are here for a 7-minute speech. In that 7 minutes, they'd barely be completely attentive for 3 minutes. In that, they will take something. So if you've used very technical terms, if you've used very minor details, your audience is not going to capture that. They are going to capture something that's easily relatable to them. So that is why if you've used such technical terms, concise it. Make it 3 sentences into 1 sentence to really tell them this is the setup. That's all they want to know. The setup was 90-degree angle with a plank, which is 45-degree angle. It's very relevant to you, but not to your audience. So that is why concise it and make it something that's easily relatable. These are 2 ways to streamline a speech. Adding value, very important. You've got only 7 minutes. So every word you deliver should add some value. That's the first one. And the second one is something that can be easily relatable by your audience. So these are the 2 tips of streamlining a speech. Now that makes it the whole structure. So for your story, keep it genuine, keep it something you believe in, and don't try to deliver too many messages in one speech. Keep it one message with a story that's relaxed, that's peaceful, that you can easily deliver and you're not rushing through. Second thing is about the structure. So for your opening, keep it short, keep it something that can catch the audience's attention, that gives an indication of your story, but not the full story. Your body of the speech, make it something that has the details of the message, the connection to the message, something that will allow your audience to imagine the scenario, something that's, of course, which will allow you to use your skill sets as a speaker. Coming to the conclusion, should be impactful. Again, crisp, don't drag your conclusion and leave the audience on a high so that for the next 1-2 minutes, they are thinking. Finally, streamline your speech. Whenever you're preparing for contest, please don't come to a situation where when you're practicing, you're clocking 7 minutes, 29 seconds. You will either rush or you will overshoot. So especially for a winning speech where you're going for a contest, make sure that you're clocking a very close 7 minutes, 2-3 seconds, 7 minutes, 10 seconds. But then only on the contest day, you will be on time. You can deliver your best speech of your lifetime in a contest. But the timer says the time taken was 7 minutes, 31 seconds. That best speech also has no value because you're disqualified. So it's rather better you deliver a 7 minutes, 10 second speech, qualify and win that trophy. So that's why while streamlining, please ensure every word, every sentence you're saying is adding some value, is something that's relatable. People are nodding their heads. They can understand what you are taking. Final conclusion that I would say is we all deliver. Like today, this education session is not for me. It's for you. So if I was only telling things that are about me, I come here and tell you, oh, this is what I did, this is what you will lose me. So that is why that you-I ratio is very important in a speech. Don't keep it about I. Keep it more about how your audience can relate. Speaker's biggest strength is not your voice, not your script, not how well you delivered. It's how much the audience loved you. So having your audience with you is a biggest strength as the speaker. They feel your emotions, they go with you high, low, they connect with you. They laugh when you had a good moment. They feel sad when you said a sad incident. That's your biggest strength. So when you're writing a script, please make sure you're keeping your audience in mind. How will people conceive it? Practice it with someone at home, with a kid at home, with your parents at home, with your spouse at home. Practice with your friends in front of the mirror. Do anything. But make sure we might feel very excited about something, but is my audience feeling equally excited? So you always have to script in a way that will be well received by your audience. That's, if there is one winning technique that I felt really helps, is when your audience feels she is the one who is supposed to win. So that's your strength. Use it to your core. And of course, you can always balance out your script, get it mentored. There will be people who will advise you well, and take all feedbacks and then decide what you want to do. That's pretty much it about how to write the script. I am happy to take any questions that anybody has. You can feel free to shoot. There are no questions. I'll probably assume I don't know. Yes, sir. Please, Meena.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arundhuti. I have a question. Though I feel very comfortable to have the script in my head and then run through, but my mentee is very comfortable to have the script scripted and then speak. At one instance, I felt she was literally talking the script, not explaining. Then I told her to be impromptu, repeat it by being impromptu. But what is the right way? To have it scripted or to not have it scripted? And how do we, some people also talk about number of words. So how do we balance this is the question I have.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Meena. Very relevant question. And I have to say, one of the most popular questions in all my education sessions. So, should we script or should we not script? So what I would say is, one element of it is your comfort level. One, whether you are someone who needs a script to be dependent on, or are you a natural speaker? That's one element. Now, coming to a script, even if you are one of the most natural speaker, like you can give a prepared speech without preparing, then also my recommendation is it's good to have a script just for the structure and the flow. But coming to your point around where somebody was going word by word, the reading the script, it's great when you start. When you're starting in your Toastmaster journey, the first 2-3 speeches, you went absolutely by your script, paused and voice modulated, everything was well. But when you grow as a speaker, you want to slowly do away with it. You don't want to sound scripted on a stage because that's very easy to identify. So my recommendation always has been use your script for your structure. What is my flow? Like my opening line, that's probably very important. So that's where I want to sound like I had written. But coming to the body of my story, I want to use the script more as a flow, but I don't have to go word by word. What I want to do is I want to tell it in the same flow, spread the time in the same manner, but use my words. And that is why one thing that I always say is to sound genuine on stage is important. Now, some people say that we practice when you're doing ISC, probably you've practiced 100 times the same speech. You almost sound like you're on autopilot mode. You're just going on. So that is why, how do we sound genuine every single time? We need to relive that incident. That's why I said that when you write a script, use it for a structure, not a word by word reading out of it. That's not the best technique for being an absolute high level speaker. If you're somebody who can pull it out, you're probably exceptional. But otherwise, I would say use the script for a flow. And before you deliver, think of the incident. Tell it more like this was my experience rather than this was a scripted speech. So that would be my suggestion. Your technique probably is a nice one where you go more naturally. Coming to your mentee, the person's new, first few speeches, let them use the script. Eventually, you don't want to take them absolutely out of scripting. What you want to tell them is use that for your flow, but try to tell it more like how you experienced it. That would be one suggestion. Coming to the number of words. Now that, I know we define sometimes 5 to 7 minute speech, 450 words, 500 words. We do that definition. But how many words can you cover in a speech would be dependent on two things. One is your rate of speech. What is your natural pace? If you are a naturally calm speaker, slow speaker, but to accommodate 1,000 words, you start speaking very fast, it'll be a little difficult. So first think of what is your natural pace. If you're a fast speaker, you can have a little more words. If you're a slow speaker, you want to reduce it. Second thing is how much emotions and how much pause do you need in your speech. That will also determine the number of words. If it's a speech where you want to be absolutely silent for say 3-4 seconds in between, just want to be, let everybody be silent and then come back. Or if it's a speech where you have that frequent pause where you want to turn around and look at the audience, you have a lot of emotions, ups and downs, your number of words need to be a little lesser. But if it's a story which is like long going, like more or less, not so many pauses, it's just a normal flowing story, you can have slightly more words. So that's how you want to balance the words. It's not a bookish definition. It will be dependent on the story you've chosen for the speech and your rate of speech. Does that help?
Yes, very much. It was very precise and in detail, I can say, helped me out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Rakesh.
What is the best advice on giving the transition from one point to another point?
Right. Yeah. Thank you for that question. So coming to transitions, first thing that first advice that I would want to give is, if it's a drastic transition, then you want to make your audience feel that this transition happened. So that's why you would want to pause for 1 or 2 seconds and then tell what the transition part is, so that people know that, oh, this happened and then that happened. And the good way to pause is, if you're someone who uses gestures, then pause at that right gesture. Just pause there only and pause, get your gesture back, and then tell what was the transition. If it's a transition which is more like, say you're doing a very awareness type of a speech, where you're transitioning, not an emotional story where it's up and a down, but you're literally transitioning between sections. Then one advice that I usually give is, if you're doing a theoretical speech, have pointers. So say the first thing you want to do is this, and the second thing you want to do is this. So the minute you say second thing, you automatically transition from first to second and then to third. Only other advice will be, as a speaker, do not call out transition. Let the transitioning be natural. What I mean by that is, we've seen some people who say, and now I'm going to tell you an incident that absolutely changed my life. You don't, that way, you are literally forcing it into the audience's mind. Look, this incident changed my life. But that's not what you want to do. What you want to do is tell the incident, and the audience will know that this is the incident that you. So even while we are picturizing that, don't say, ladies and gentlemen, now let me tell you this, and you start imagining this. You don't have to call it out. Just speak and let people naturally get it that you have moved from this to this. That would be mine. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question, Arundhuti. So when I'm, like when you prepare the script, and when you want to remove the unwanted portions, right? So how do you identify that which will be identified, which will not be good to use for the audience, or which one's one which I'm going to remove? Because at that point of time, I'll be so much engrossed on my topic that I'll think that everything is important for me.
Correct. Very, very relevant question. And I totally feel the same emotion that you do, because often when my speeches are like coming to 8 minutes, I'm like, I don't want to remove anything. Can they give me 8 to 10 minutes instead? But anyways, we know that doesn't happen. So how do we remove the unwanted piece? So what you want to do is basically read the whole script again and think of your central message. And then try to think that which are the sections that are driving the message and which are the sections that are doing context setting. We'll always have these two parts in our script. We do the first part to set the context, set the setup, the theme, those are the elements. And then the second part does the message. Now, whatever's driving you to the eliminate from there, because that part is important. It is driving your message. So that leaves you with the part that allows you to do context setting, or maybe set up the theme, how the situation look like. That's the area you want to eliminate from. And how do you eliminate from there? Two techniques. One is there could be certain elements of the setup that was just adding color, but not adding value. That you can completely take off. And then there'll be a second portion where you need it, but you probably don't need it at length as how you've written. Sometimes because we've used brilliant words, we don't want to take out that section. That had my best word, but you have to give away. That's a conscious choice. So what you do is you merge it. You merge the whole 3 lines into 1 line. That will reduce your total words. I'll give you an example where I did my district speech, because like I mentioned, it was about a paratrooping experience. So I actually wanted I had written my script to talk about a little bit about my trainer and how the training was. And there were some elements of humor. I'm not naturally a very humorous speaker, but those were areas where there were humor. But then my speech became too long. So that's the portion I actually cut out on. I didn't explain how my training area looked like in my final speech, only because the aim was to tell people a different message. So I did tell them that I stepped into a paratroopers training school and this is how my training went. I didn't go around defining how the hangar looked, how the flights looked, how our parachutes looked. I didn't talk about that. Though that was very, like, to me initially felt very important, but I took it off because it was not adding to my final message. So that's how you want. From the context setting is where you want to carve out, not from your final message. That's how you do.
Thank you.
I have a question. Hi,
Yes.
Arundhuti. My name is Kaustubh. This is not really related to scripting. I had the opportunity to listen to you at the division level and the district level. My question is related to the fact that everyone in the audience has their camera switched off, and you're literally speaking to a blank screen. And you're very energetic when you're on stage. It's absolutely to the level of being unmatched, right? How do you keep up that energy? How do you keep up that momentum? Don't you feel at times, at least through your speech, that who am I speaking to and why am I doing it? Don't you feel a little monotonous or maybe mechanical? How do you get past that? I've lost interest in speaking at contests because of this, because you just can't make out anything. There is just a contest master who has the video on, and they have a stone face because they have been advised not to show any emotions. So why do we even do this anymore? Very
Thank you
candid
so
question.
much for that, Kaustubh. Actually, I have also heard your speech, so we know how each of us speak. But yes, I cannot agree more to you. That's the reason I'm probably a much bigger fan of offline contests than online contests, because you can see people, you can see their reactions, and you know whether you are there with you or not. But unfortunately, this one, at least my first year in contesting, it was this year, and you very rightly said that everybody was off camera. In fact, some people who were on camera, I didn't know whether I should look at them and speak or not, because they were just not probably doing something else at home. That's even more distracting. There is a shot your video and you're doing something else at home. But what I would say is, how did I keep my energy going? One thing is, so I look at, this is a habit I've inculcated only for this virtual contest. It's not very me. Like today, I'm loving it because I can see all of your faces. But what I do in contest, a little bit that helped me is I look at myself. I look at myself in the screen, and it is more of really like how I do my practice sessions. It's more like me looking at me and my gestures and speaking. That's one. And there was a second thing that I would say, probably if it helps, especially in virtual theme, is the speech that I was doing for my district championship or any speeches that I do. I always have a purpose behind the speech. Like here in my speech, it was really to be able to say a thank you to my instructor who's no more for making me who I am. So because I had that purpose, I always keep that purpose behind my mind. So even though I can't see the people, I know why I want to go out to the world and tell them that this is the story and this is what's helped me. So in my head, I more had that I have to give it my best shot, even if people are listening to me or not, because there's someone bigger that I'm trying to thank. So that's one of the other reasons for which probably my energy stayed, because it was more for my instructor than for anybody else on the call. That bigger purpose helps, but it's a little unfortunate, to be honest, that you can't see people. As speakers, it's a very big drawback because we speak for the audience. If you can't see people smiling, laughing, reacting, you lost interest. So I can relate with you all the way. But yeah, those are my 2 bits on what really helped me.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I would assume that there are no more questions. So with that, Shauka, back to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Arundhuti. It's something which we learned, and this is a very genuine feedback, and you can find out from my voice as well that I have been attending so many workshops, so many trainings, so many masterclasses, and this is one of those rare masterclass which we got so many valuable and which are very practical inputs. And all the inputs that you have given us today is something based out of your own experience. And that's the value addition which we have, everyone, for me. And everybody loved us so much. And with that, let us give a round of applause for this awesome masterclass session for Toastmaster Arundhuti. It was a really great session for today. Thank you so much. And now thank you so much, Toastmaster Arundhuti. And now moving on to our second part of today's session. Now, this is going to be a very, very interesting one as well, because this is going to be something which is called the impromptu speaking. Now, as you learned a lot from Arundhuti, that what are the various things that we can write it on the script, but when you have to do this impromptu, how do you do that? Well, practice makes it a lot. But what is table topics for the one who has joined us for the first time? And also that one, we will talk it by our awesome table topic master. But today is a very, very special day as well. And the reason, one, because we have an awesome masterclass, and second, it's a very special day for our Speakers Den family, because our table topic master, I'm going to share my screen, and before we start off with the table topic, let me know if you can view my screen. Is my screen viewable?
Yes.
Okay, so today is Toastmaster Sonal, who is going to be the table topic master. It's her birthday, so let's first wish her an awesome birthday. So let's wish Toastmaster Sonal a very happy birthday.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sankya. I normally never celebrate my birthday. I don't know how you make my birthday today, but thank you very much.
Okay, so now let us move on to the our second topic. So let me introduce Toastmaster Sonal, who is a qualified telecom engineer and currently working in her century-old family furniture business. She is a certified soft skill trainer. She is a division finalist for the table topic, the evaluation, and the international speech contest. She is also the president of the first Toastmasters Club in India, the Garden City Toastmasters Club. With that, let us welcome our club secretary of Speakers 10, Toastmaster Sonal. Toastmaster Sonal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sankya. I feel so special. So without further delay, we will go into our table topic session. Table topics is an impromptu speaking session where members will be given a topic and expect to speak impromptu, that is extempore, without practice. And the timing would be between 1 and 2 minutes and 30 seconds. At 1 minute, Toastmaster Rakesh will flash the green card. Could you please demonstrate it?
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Sonal. Let me demonstrate you. So once it is 1 minute, I'll be flashing the green card. And after the 1 minute 30 seconds, I'll be flashing the yellow card. And after 2 minutes, I will be flashing the red card.
Yes, after which the speaker has 30 seconds to wind up his or her speech. So our first topic would be for, do we have any volunteers before that? Anybody wants to volunteer? Okay, we will give, because our guest today is also the champion for table topics. I would like to give her a topic because I wasn't able to witness it, but I really wanted to know who she was. So because she's such a champion, I would like to give her a topic. Is it possible to lie without saying a word? Is it possible to lie without saying a word, Toastmaster Arundhuti?
Thank you, Table Topic Master, Toastmaster Sonal. Is it possible to say a lie without saying a word? Say yes, it's possible, because an untold truth is also deemed to be a lie at times. Hiding a truth by not saying it out can be thought of as somebody who lied to me. What I would say is, I am personally not a great fan of lying in any form. So I believe that honesty is the best policy, very old school. It is possible to lie, but sometimes your cause might be important, because of which you have to hold back, not say a word, not speak the truth. But as humans, it is important sometimes to come out of that fear of not speaking up and rather not saying the truth and partake in lying than saying the truth. It's a tough one to do, especially in situations where you know you'll do some self-harm by speaking up or telling some words. But I would say, fellow Toastmasters and any guests on the call, it is always difficult in the beginning, but it gets easy as it gets going. So that is why always speak up, tell the truth, even if it is self-damaging sometimes, because in the long run, you would know that you had done the right thing and it's a sense of satisfaction. So yes, for the topic, there were situations when we didn't speak up and probably became a party to a lie. You can lie sometimes by not saying anything. We as Toastmasters, our job is to speak. So say something and tell the truth. Be a party to telling the truth and try and avoid, until absolutely pushed against the wall, to not speak and tell a lie. That's my take. Back to you, Table.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arundhuti. Ever since I heard you, you came across as a very genuine speaker, and thank you so much for everything. Our next topic is for Toastmaster Lalita. Where do you find inspiration? Where do you find inspiration, Toastmaster Lalita?
I think the right place where I find inspiration is like this Toastmaster itself, Like whenever I have any doubts, like I've just given only 2 speeches. So if I have any doubts, the first person I consult is Sankhya. And he really is an inspiring person, and he has so much of patience to guide, and whatever it is, like even a silly things also, like, it's very approachable. So even if I have a silly point to ask, like he's so approachable, I can just go and consult him. And he's really an inspiring person, at least like he's so patient. So I admire that quality in him. And in my office, like my COO, like she is very inspiring. She's also like very approachable. Like we can go and ask her any silly doubts or whatever we have in our mind. So she's also very inspiring. And personally, like I've been inspired by my father. So my father is a kind of person, like, who is very hardworking. And he's taught me, like, we have to pay attention to details. So this is what I have learned. And even any report I submit or whatever I do, I pay a lot of attention to the details. So I think my father is the greatest inspirer for me in my life. Over to you, Toastmaster Sonal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lalita. Do we have any volunteers? Anyone wants to volunteer? Toastmaster Meena. What gives your life meaning? What gives your life meaning, Toastmaster Meena?
First of all, very happy birthday, Sonal. So timer, please do not start. Let me take 20 seconds time. And what gives life the meaning? Frankly speaking, I had never asked this question till one day I was lying on the hospital bed, trying hard to take my breath. The doctor told me I should be moved to ICU. I had never questioned the purpose of my life till then. The very image of my family coming in front of me, my father, my mother, my brother, got me into tears. All I wanted to do is take a couple of breaths deeper and live. Live not because it's just me, live with the purpose. Live with the purpose to do something, because every day is something that has been gifted to us. Sometimes, honestly, we do not take into consideration until a difficulty strikes in. But people are out there who are trying to take this very moment, this very breath which you are taking at ease. People are out there who are on their deathbeds, trying really hard, just praying that they can live for one more day. What would you do? Would you take it with ease? Would you have a purpose? Would you live your life with something you really want to achieve? Is something which you have to ask yourself before something strikes you. Thank you. Over to Toastmaster Sonal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Meena, for pouring your heart out like the way you did. Our next topic is for Toastmaster Dr. Pasha. Sir, what do you love most about yourself? What do you love most about yourself, Toastmaster Dr. Pasha?
What I love most about myself?
Yes, sir.
So, thank you for the topic, ma'am. First of all, I love my whole self because I know first we have to love ourselves, then we expect others to love us. See, why I love most myself is because I am the person I have, through struggles, through rejections, through series of setbacks, I have grown this much. That's why I love the most. Because if I want to trust anybody, if I want to get any inspiration, any motivation, I reflect myself, I go inside of myself and I see and talk to myself, then I take inspiration and motivation from myself. Because I believe the only power having worth is power of oneself. Means it is self-power is the only power one should have, and it is worth having. The power of oneself is the most powerful power one should have, and one should develop. So within that power makes me love me much. So I believe in my this thing, power. So that power doesn't come easily. It is not that power. To develop that power, we have to struggle, we have to reflect, we have to study oneself every day. We have to dive deep inside us. We reflect every day. We commit to develop our whole self-awareness. Then only it comes. So it can't be built overnight. That power does not come overnight. It's not for free. So we will develop over it. I had developed this power over a time through my struggles. All this. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Happy birthday to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Pasha. And thank you for also giving us a life lesson. Now, since Toastmaster Lalita said Sankhya doesn't get angry, Toastmaster Sankhya, the next topic is for you.
Okay, sure.
What makes you angry and why? What makes you angry and why, Toastmaster Sankhya?
Imagine you give a timing for someone and then he or she arrives almost half an hour late, 1 hour late, 2 hours late. And then you started thinking, or you move your thinking hat from the cool Shankho to the angry Shankho. And then something started happening within you. Why am I? Why in the world it has to be me that I has to be waiting for so many hours? And then the person enters. Oh, I'm so sorry, there's a traffic jam, there's a blah, 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 blah. And then immediately, by the voice of that, the angry Shankho changes hat to the cool Shankho and with a polite smile says, oh, it's absolutely fine. But deep inside my heart, I was still very angry to say that, oh my God, I'm never going to believe this person because he is most very, very untruthful. If someone cannot maintain their time, it is not trustful. So ladies and gentlemen, time is very crucial for me. If someone is giving me time, I always appreciate that that person comes a little bit early or on time, be it in my corporate meeting, be it anywhere. That's something which is very close to my heart, and that's what makes me today. And so that's what makes me angry as well and cool as well. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster Sonal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sankhya. I'm very surprised that you also get angry because I've never seen you angry. And our next topic would be for Velavan. Yeah. Yes. What is one downside of the modern day world? What is one downside of the modern day world? Toastmaster Velavan.
Thank you, Sonal, for that question. Just connecting my thoughts now. So the modern day world, I think, because of the social media, there's a lot of fake news is going around and people react to the fake news. That is one downside of the modern world. And whatever happens in some corner of the world also it feels like that is happening right next to your neighborhood. The media amplifies everything these days. So what happens somewhere in some corner of the world is also, it feels like it's going to affect you. So these things are the two, which came to my mind right now.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Velavan. Of course, it's a very pertinent issue, fake news and amplifying it and destroying somebody else. Thank you very much. And our last topic for today, would our guest be comfortable taking it? Toastmaster Pai.
Yeah.
Is love a strength or a weakness? Is love a strength or a weakness, Toastmaster Pai?
first thing we need to understand is, what is love? What is love? Because everyone has a different meaning of love. Somebody says love is this, somebody says love is that, somebody says love is a strength, love is a weakness. I feel love is something what you give a definition to. You can give your own definition to love. You can make love your own strength, or you can make love your weakness. For example, let's say you're too attached to a person, and that person you know is never going to be with you, then it's a weakness for you. You have made love your weakness. But let's say your family, your support, who is with you all the time, and you think of them as your strength, then love becomes a strength. So love is neither strength nor weakness. It's what the definition you give it to. You may go out into the world, right, and spread love, and that becomes a strength to somebody else. It's not what love is for you, it's what love you can give it to the world. So I would say to everyone here, go and spread love, because that is the way to live. And then this love, what we are discussing about, whether it's a strength or a weakness, it will become a place of strength for everyone who connects with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pai. Venkatesh, would you be comfortable taking the topic?
Yes, I'm comfortable,
ma'am. What is your favorite place on earth? What is your favorite place on earth, Toastmaster Venkatesh?
My favorite place on earth is my native place where I reside here, because it gives both impact on my life. I enjoyed seeing nature how it grows from from a small to big. I have planted so many trees from my childhood, or I can say from 7-year-olds. Till now, I have planted 22 trees. And it feels like how they are growing, and same I am growing. And I have contributed to my nature, and I have felt two things. It also gives a positive effect of people and negative. First, I talk about positive one. The plant which I planted, it helps bringing more rain. This will help in increasing our agriculture production, and it will also help in reducing soil erosion. And the negative effect of people I have seen in, they know that I have planted this many trees, they will overgraze it, or they can pluck it out from there, or by unknowingly means, because they think it will be far for him plucking it, and they did not value it. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Venkatesh. And with that, we come to the end of our table topic session. I hand it back over to the moderator, Toastmaster Sankhya.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sonal. A big round of applause for the awesome table topics, and to all our lovely guests and Toastmasters who has participated and make these sessions a brilliant one. So with that, and we are ending today's meeting number 293, and the stage is open for for everyone to speak. And for that, I just wanted to have a quick feedback from our guests. And for that, may I request first Toastmaster Arundhuti to have a few words.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sankhya. This is amazing. I mean, I loved the whole energy in the club, and the fact, like Costa was mentioning, the fact that everybody is on video consistently. I mean, hats off to you. That's really what we need. if we are going to do virtual meetings, because as a speaker, it makes life much easier if you can see the others, you can see how they are contemplating what you are saying. So I would say that's a huge strength to this club. And also many thanks to you, Shankar, for you've been you've been just so clear on everything that's needed, told me way ahead of time about this session. I had all the details, so no challenges at all. So I think that's been, you always feel like coming to a place where you're welcome, and your club is definitely one place where I really felt welcomed. Everybody wears a smile throughout. There's so much positivity, couldn't have asked for anything more on a Sunday. So I must say thank you very much for this opportunity. I loved being here, and I definitely come and attend your club's meetings.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Arundhuti. A round of applause. We also have Toastmaster Meena. Toastmaster Meena, would love to hear from you.
First of all, Toastmaster Sankyo, am I pronouncing your name right?
I'm very open-hearted, you know. So actually, Shanko.
Shanko, okay.
Yeah. But you can call me Shankya, Shonko,
Okay,
Shonko.
I thought it's Sankhya. In Kannada, it means numbers. So I thought it that way. But yesterday, I was a bit surprised with the pronunciation Shanko, right?
Yeah, but although my profession deals with numbers, so I'm open to that as well.
Okay, thank you for the invite. By the way, I wanted to just jump in for any of the session, and he was really very open-hearted, call me for the session. It was a session, very insightful session. It could be the masterclass from Toastmaster Arundhuti and the amazing table topic from Toastmaster Sonal. I enjoyed every bit of it. Trust me, honestly, I don't attend Toastmasters on Sundays specifically for my family, but this was my first time, and I can say every minute, every second was worth attending. And I love to come back to your club for many more meetings, and really love the energy as Toastmaster Arundhuti rightly pointed out. So it was a delight for me. Thank you.
Absolutely. A round of applause for Toastmaster Meena for such kind-hearted words. And indeed, that's actually one of the reasons all of our speakers day and our guests, we are very, very mad when it comes, mad and crazy actually, when it comes to Sunday at 11 o'clock. And then we forget everything and then we come and attend the meetings. But that's what the passion is all about. And Pai, Srinivas, I love your smile actually, whether it's in the speakers in meeting or whether it's into any other meeting. What brings your motivation? Why do you are so crazy about Toastmaster as well on Sunday? You're on mute.
Shankar, can you repeat the last line? I just lost you after you said smile.
Yeah, I'm just saying, that we are very crazy on Sundays at 11 o'clock. What makes you as crazy as well in that Toastmaster meeting? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of the wonderful meetings, I would say, happening on Sundays, because, you really get rid of your fear of public speaking. And I feel the weakness, in your weakness, what you're showcasing to the world, it's a place where you can come and, try to get rid of it. And I feel this is the best place where I can really improve upon my public speaking. And as I said before, I have seen so much improvement in just last 4 weeks. This is my 4th session. And I would say it's helping me in my corporate life also. So yeah, I want to be here every Sunday so that, I can, make a change in the world also. Yes.
Absolutely. A great thought, actually. And I found, very much aligned with you, because I found like coming to the Toastmaster meeting is like going to the gym, wherein you have to exercise every now and then. Otherwise, you will go back to the same. So sometimes due to some professional commitment or some other thing, if I not become active or completely inactive for 1 month or 2 months, and then when I come back, I see, oh my God, I'm starting to faltering in my words, not able to get the words. So that's what I have observed. So I strongly, I can connect with you that, yes, this is an ongoing journey for that. And we also have Toastmaster Vilavan, we'd love to hear from you. You have been a Toastmaster, and would love to, it's always great to see you in the meeting.
Yeah. So I joined Toastmasters a couple of months back. I just delivered my icebreaker speech.
Right.
So I'm just preparing my level 1 next speech. So which I hope to deliver in the next upcoming weeks, like hopefully in the next 2 weeks at least. So I was just looking forward if we can like sometime have an offline Toastmaster meeting. So that is something I wanted to ask.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so this is a good opportunity actually. So let me announce one very interesting thing is that finally there was a lot of, to and fro going on that online meeting is the best and offline meeting is the best. So we have decided, we'll take the best of both of the medium and we are going to go hybrid. So I'm going to announce it officially in the group, and let me take this opportunity to announce it here as well. So in September, we have already booked 2 dates on 4th of September and on 18th of September when we are going hybrid. And when I'm saying hybrid, so it will be, we do not want to lose out or, whoever cannot join on the offline venue, they can continue in the online, and whoever can join on the offline, so they will be coming to the venue. That will be at Indranagar. I'll share you the link over there. It's very close to the metro station as well. So in any case, someone who is not staying within Indranagar or around, or they have a problem in coming, they can catch up the metro and they can come up there, because from the metro it's just 1 kilometer. So the good news is already there. And we'll see to that. Okay, so with that, let me close our today's meeting number 293. So stay